When I first started playing Final Fantasy XIV, I knew that I wanted to play a tank. I'd never tanked in a game before, and I figured it would be a fun challenge and a good way to get to know the core concepts of the game. I saw that my two options for starting out were either Gladiator or Marauder, and at the time, the sword and board classic tank feeling is what I was looking for. Since then, I've put a lot of time into Paladin. It's been my main job since the beginning, and probably half of my overall playtime has been spent on the job. So, with it being the poster job for Endwalker, I wanted to talk a bit about my thoughts on how it feels to play at the current level cap of 90. Quick spoiler warning, there's some footage in this video of the first extreme trial and the expansion, which is the harder version of the level 83 trial. If you haven't gotten to that point yet, you might want to click to the conclusion section at the end of the video. So Paladin is your standard knight in shining armor. Almost all of the artifact gear for the job consists of heavy plate armor with some sort of intricate patterning, a cape, or some sort of winged imagery. The newest set of artifact gear, the level 89 set, is the armor used by the Cannon Warrior of Light in all of the Endwalker trailers and images, and it's exactly what I always wanted in a Paladin set. In addition, Paladin is the only job that actually uses separate weapons in the main hand and in the offhand. Even with jobs that use two weapons like Ninja and Monk, it's just a main hand weapon, whereas Paladin has separate slots for sword and shield so you can mix and match how you please. And if the armor sets and shield glams aren't enough to win you over, remember that as a tank, Paladin has two special mounts for completing certain achievements, so if you want to be a knight riding a lion into battle, play Paladin, just saying. Coming into new content, Paladin has kept its identity of a support tank pretty much intact. For me, this was the most important thing coming into Endwalker. I play Paladin because I want to play a job that can not only take a hit, but one that can support others from the off-tank role. They doubled down on this in Endwalker by just adding healing to everything? Of course, Paladin can't self-heal as much as Warrior can, but self-healing was added to Sheltron, now Holy Sheltron, as well as to Holy Spirit and Holy Circle. A regen was added to Intervention and to Divine Veil. I really don't think you get more support-oriented tank than that. The other, much more noticeable thing that was added this expansion is the magic combo that follows Confiteor. The finisher might be called Blade of Valor, but we all know the real name is Unlimited Blade Works. This is a big AoE magic combo that leaves a dot on all enemies hit at the end of the rotation. It's fun, it's flashy, and it feels pretty good to use. Overall, the gameplay for Paladin didn't really change much with Endwalker. There are some important things to keep in mind. First, the dot from Blade of Valor is overwritten by Goring Blade, so make sure that you don't use one right after the other. Following your magic finisher, you can go straight into your Royal Authority combo and start pumping out atonements. Second, be careful where you place Requiescat in your combo. If you use it just before Royal Authority, then follow up with your atonements and reapply your Goring Blade. You have just enough time to make it through Confiteor before the buff falls off, and Requiescat will be back up just in time to fit it into the same place in your rotation the next time. Third, your tank stance is off. Turn it on. The rest of your rotation is simple and can be separated into three distinct phases: the dot phase, the atonement phase, and the magic phase. For the dot phase, you'll combo Fast Blade into Riot Blade and finish with Goring Blade to apply your dot. Make sure to use Fight or Flight just before Riot Blade, and you'll be able to get 2 full durations of the dot applied before you lose the buff. After applying your dot, you'll work in the atonement phase by comboing Fast Blade into Riot Blade, and then using Royal Authority. This will give you 3 stacks of a buff called Sword Oath. You can expend 1 stack of Sword Oath to execute Atonement. If you immediately follow up your dot phase with this new combo, you'll easily get the atonements in during the Fight or Flight window. Be sure to reapply your dot before moving on to the magic phase. Requiescat allows for your next 5 spells to be cast instantly. In Endwalker, this was made to be a lot more forgiving than it was before, as it's now a buff with stacks rather than just a short timer. In general, on single target fights like bosses, you'll spend the first 4 of these stacks on Holy Spirit and the 5th on Confiteor. Remember that Confiteor can only be used under the effects of Requiescat. From there, the Confiteor button will actually turn into the rest of the buttons in the combo, so just keep that up until you've applied your dot and you're ready to go into the atonement phase again. Compared to the other tanks, I think Paladin is in an okay spot. It does its job and has a clear identity, but Unlimited Blade of Valor hits like a sad noodle. I'm more than happy with Paladin doing less damage than the other tanks. It feels warranted simply because of the amount of healing and utility the job brings. Right now though, it feels a little bit too low. I definitely expect at least a little bit of love from the balance team in the near future. I really love what they did with Paladin this expansion overall. It's a bit behind in terms of damage, but the extra support they added is exactly what I wanted. Well, that and big swords falling out of the sky, but I got both. It's being picked the least in Savage content, but it still has its place, and with a bit of a damage buff, will be a pretty solid, well-rounded pick. What do you think? Did the dev team hit the mark with Paladin and Endwalker, or were you hoping for something else? Do you want to see more of these videos? I probably won't do one for every job, but I definitely have a few more that I have some thoughts on. Let me know in a comment down below. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what your favorite job in Endwalker is. I'll see you in the next one.